You know, chicks dig the long ball, and nobody hits them farther in college baseball than Chandler Taylor, who's with us this morning on the Bud Light Hotline presented by Adams Beverages, somewhere in the Northeast because he's playing in the Cape Cod Wooden Bat League, playing for Brewster. Are you in Brewster this morning, Chandler, or are you somewhere else?
Yes, sir, I am. I'm actually at my host parents' house in Brewster, Massachusetts right now, getting ready to go to the ballpark.
Oh, awesome. Appreciate you carving out a little time for us. All right, let's get to, before we get back to what happened in Omaha earlier this year and we talk about Alabama baseball, let's just talk about right now. And playing in the Wooden Bat League, swinging the wooden bat, how much different is it than hitting with the aluminum?
It's an adjustment, but at the same time, it's an adjustment that you have to embrace. Especially if you want to play at the highest level, and that's something that I really want to do in my baseball career. So it's something that you have to embrace, and you have to really take the time to kind of perfect your craft when you're swinging wood, and that's what I really respect about the professional game.
Yeah, and it's a great experience for you because, as you said, your goal is to play one day in the big leagues, and why not go ahead and get some experience with that wooden bat, right?
Right.
Hey, coming up this weekend, and you're going to be in another home run derby, and this is the Cape Cod Friendlies All-Star home run derby with the wooden bats. Now, obviously, the ball doesn't travel as far. Do you think the home run numbers will be down because of that, or you think you guys can put on a pretty good show?
We're going to put on a good show, and I got no doubt about that. Over there at Spillane Field, where Wareham plays their games, it's a launching pad to the corners, so you're probably going to see some guys just trying to yank some balls out of the yard, and if they start getting in the air, it's going to fly no matter what. Even with the wood bat, we got some big, strong power hitters up here in this league to have the opportunity to hit in that home run derby, and it should be a fun show to watch, no matter what kind of bats we get to use.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. Chandler Taylor, our guest, Alabama soon-to-be junior outfielder, participating this summer in the Cape Cod Wooden Bat League. Let's go back a few weeks to Omaha and that college home run derby. You and Nico Hulsizer from Morehead State put on a show, and he wound up getting you by one home run. You had a chance with the money ball if you hit it over the ballpark, over the field, to beat him, but it was a duel, and your home runs were of mammoth proportion. We know about taking out a couple lights on the scoreboard. Just tell me about that experience. How much fun was that?
Yeah, Omaha hosted a class event. They treated us really well from the time we stepped off the plane in the Omaha airport to the time we got back on it to go home. They catered to our every need, and getting to do it with five guys that I had never met before, prior to the home run derby. It's a little shaky going in because you don't know how everybody's going to act, but everybody was just, great sports. Everybody's cool with everybody, and I made some friends at that event that I'll remember forever, and it was a really cool experience because everybody just kind of knew that they belonged, and it didn't really take any effort for us to respect each other.
Right.
It didn't really take any time or effort. We knew coming in that everybody had respect for everybody, and I think that just made the relationship that much better to start off with. So, I'm happy I went. I had a lot of fun. That's probably some of the most fun I've ever had on a baseball field, and I'll never forget that ever in my life.
You could see it on television. Watching it on ESPN, you could see the bond and the respect and the brotherhood that you guys had, and you were pulling for each other. Now, everybody wanted to win, but you could see that every guy wanted all the other guys to do well. I thought that was pretty special. Right,
and that's not something you see every day, especially from guys who had just met 24 hours earlier. And I think that just is a testament to how close-knit the baseball community is. And I know that sounds really cliche, but it it is. On and off the field, everybody has respect for everybody. Not necessarily saying you're going to get along with everybody, but there's that mutual respect that the game brings.
And the bond that you and Nico have coming out of that home run derby, I'm guessing as you guys go ahead and pursue your professional careers, am I right in making this assumption that this is a friendship that is going to be strong going forward and will last for a long, long time?
It absolutely will. And, like I said, I'll cherish those moments and that event for the rest of my life. But I've already talked to Nico probably 5 or 6 times since we've left. And, he's trying to find a weekend or a couple of weekends where they have, little to nothing to do up in Moorhead, and he's going to try to make some trips down to Tuscaloosa this fall and come hang out with the guys, and we're going to welcome him with open arms, and like I said, it just goes back to that mutual respect that everybody has, not only for the game but for each other, and I think that's something special.
Indeed it is. Let's talk Bama baseball. Brad Bohannon comes in as your new head coach. You were drafted. You could have signed. You're a draft-eligible sophomore, 21 years of age, but you made the decision to come back. Talk about the decision to come back and your thoughts on the new head coach, Brad Bohannon.
Yeah, I've spent some time talking to Coach Bo. On and off throughout the summer. I know he's busy recruiting and trying to get our program headed in the right direction. But just his personality is infectious. I like the way he handled everything when he was introduced as head coach, and going back to being drafted, it's the opportunity of a lifetime, and it's a chance to go chase my dreams since I've been a kid. But at the same time, I also have to think about myself in that situation. And being that I didn't know whether or not I was going to be put in the best situation to make it to the big leagues after this past year,
right,
it made it a little bit easier knowing that Coach Bohannon was calling me at least once or twice a week, asking how I was doing, asking how the draft process was going. I knew that he was on board with whatever I wanted to do, and that he was going to be there for me and help me out if I were to decide to come back, which that made the decision a whole lot easier. And I think that he has the personality and the charisma, and he's got the right people around him, and he's going to get this program going in the right direction. And I wanted to be a part of that because I feel like that's going to be something special going forward.
Chandler was a 27th round pick by the Minnesota Twins, and coming back to Alabama, as he just said, for his junior season. Let's talk about this past year, because we know the record, 19 wins, only 5 in the SEC, but you managed to put together a pretty good year, both leading your team in almost every offensive category and ranking high in the SEC, 16 home runs, one of the best numbers in the league, I think 3rd overall, 10 home runs in conference play. So you put together some good numbers, yet the team struggled. It's a team sport first, but at the same time, if you don't have guys having good individual years, it's hard to get wins. What's that like when you're having a pretty good year as an individual, but your ball club is just struggling to get in the win column?
At the end of the day, I really don't like to pay attention to personal stats. And it's good to get to be, recognized at the end of the year for doing all those great things during the season. But it's a grind when your team's not winning. And, it was tough for us to stay in a positive frame of mind and still be able to show up to the ballpark every day with a good attitude and just trying to win each day. And, that gets tough toward the end of the year. But at the same time, that's what you have to do. You have no other choice but to keep showing up, keep lacing them up, and keep going at them. And, that's what we try to do every single day. And, the individual numbers come when you don't really think about it, when you don't really press for the individual numbers. And if you're playing for your team, if you're playing to win, the individual numbers will always come. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And, I love my teammates. I love my brothers. I'm playing every day to win, and I believe that's why I was able to have a really good year this past year.
And the team never did quit. The Auburn series was proof of that, and maybe proof of what might have been. You were close early in the year in the SEC. You lost a lot of one-run games to good ball clubs. Can I ask you what happened with Coach Goff? What went wrong? Because I know going into the year, there was a lot of excitement, and you guys had worked extremely hard in the offseason and showed some promise. Where did can you look back and tell me where the wheels kind of went off the track? What happened?
That's not really something I want to focus on. That's something that nobody that is going to return this year or that's coming in, anybody on the roster this year or involved with our program this year, I don't think would want to comment on that. Just based on the fact that we're looking forward, we're trying to move past it. We're trying to get the program going back in the right direction, and whatever that takes, and however much hard work that takes, I think we're going to be willing to put it in. We're going to be that much more willing because of what we had to go through this past year, and it makes us that much closer because we went through it together, and we never quit. We never gave up on each other. But as for us, we're not thinking about anything that had to do with last year or even 2 years ago or before that. We're going to lay it all on the line for each other every day, and we're looking to move forward.
Fair enough. Well said. The Auburn series, though, I guess, if there was a highlight to what was otherwise a pretty dismal year record-wise, that had to be it. You guys went in there for a 3-game series when they were still in contention to win the SEC regular season championship, host a regional. They were playing great baseball, and you went in there and you swept them. I guess that shows, first of all, that Alabama had more talent maybe than the team was given credit for, and the fact that you did continue to play hard. Just talk about that. I know it was not a great year, but that had to be an incredibly fun weekend, and you pounded the baseball down there at Plainsman Park.
Yeah, it's different when you play your rival, and when it means something to each and every person on the team. Personally, you can throw the record out the window. You can throw talent out the window, especially in a game like baseball, because anything can happen. And I think talent-wise, I think both of our teams were relatively similar.
Right.
They may have been a little deeper than us in some spots. But talent-wise, I think our teams were pretty similar. They were able to hit their stride in the middle of the year and really get it going. And they were high up there in the SEC when we went to their place because of that. But like I said, you throw all that out the window when it's Alabama and Auburn. And, both teams were going out there playing balls to the walls, trying to win all 3 games. And, I think that was our weekend where we just we talked about it before the weekend, before we left to go to Auburn, that we were just going to kind of let loose and play our game, and whatever happened, and it was going to be fun either way. I think we just kind of decided as a team that we were just going to soak it in and play for the spirit of the rivalry instead of trying to please people or trying to win just because we needed wins. We wanted to play for the spirit of the rivalry. And, all 3 games swung our way, and I firmly believe it's because we just kind of let it fly that weekend, and we didn't really think about much. We just kind of went out there and let our talents take over.
Chandler, that final game that you completed the sweep in was a 15-inning marathon. I want to say it went about 4 hours and 40 minutes. I can't remember exactly, but it seemed like it was never going to end. What was it like playing in that game?
It was crazy. You know, it was earlier in the game where we had a couple of controversial calls that kind of got us 2 extra innings.
Right.
And the fans that were still there were just absolutely hounding us and hounding the umpires. And it turned into a pretty hostile environment there for a little while. And it made it a lot of fun to have that Alabama baseball jersey on. Because when Auburn fans are getting hostile towards you, you know you're doing something right. And, you know, we figured it was only a matter of time before we broke through and won that game. And, you know, each inning that we came in the dugout, I just kept telling them, hang on, just keep hanging on. And, you know, that was kind of our thing. When we were on defense, it was get 3 outs before they score. And when we were on offense, it was just hang on, just keep hanging on. Eventually they'll fold. And, you know, we hung on just long enough and ended up getting them there in the 15th. And, you know, that's also something that I'll remember not only for the rest of my playing career, but I'll tell my kids and grandkids about that, going to Auburn and sweeping them, even though we were the worst team in the SEC.
Yeah, it was memorable, no doubt about it. Wrapping up with Chandler Taylor, he's got to get busy getting ready to practice some baseball. But you mentioned Coach Bo, and I've sat down with him for a 30-minute television interview, and you're right, his enthusiasm is just, it just grabs you. But for you as a player, this will be your 3rd year with 3 different coaching staffs. And we know we don't hear system much in baseball, but, you know, Coach Gaspar's got his way of running a program. Coach Goff has got his. Now Coach Bohannon will have his. Any anxiety about having to learn a 3rd different system in 3 years of playing college baseball?
No, I think baseball it's about getting between the lines, and it's about competing. And that's the thing I really like about Coach Bo's mentality is he's going to let us be our own player as long as we get between the lines and we compete to win for Alabama. And I think you're gonna see a more pure brand of baseball this year based on that. Just because he wants us to play, you know, balls to the walls for Alabama. And then he'll coach us after the fact, which is something that I really respect, and I really look forward to playing under him, and also Coach Zulli and Coach Jackson. You know, it's going to be fun. But I'm ready to get to work in the fall. As much fun as I'm having this summer, I'm ready to get back and get to work.
Well, Alabama fans are looking forward to it, too. I can promise you that. Finally, the home run hitting contest, the Friendly's home run wood bat home run hitting contest. You're in it along with Steven Scott and Romy Gonzalez representing the East Division, Grayson Janista, Tristan Pompey, and Marty Bacina representing the West. You got a prediction for me? You going to bring it home?
I can't give you a prediction just yet because you know, I feel like that's bad luck. You know, it's baseball.
It is.
Players.
Yeah, you're right. That's a bad question. You're gonna put a beating on some baseballs, though. I think it's safe to say that, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, and I'm glad that the West coaches decided to put Tristan in it. You know, that'll be a rematch from the Derby in Omaha.
That's right.
So that'll be a lot of fun, and you know, like I said, Romy and Steven and Bacina and those guys, they can really swing it too. So it's gonna be fun to watch if you're there, and tune in if you're not going to. So it'll be a lot of fun, and there'll be some baseballs that get hit a long way.
Well, it's been an eventful summer for you, and I know, as you said, you're looking forward to getting back here in the fall and working toward getting Alabama back into regional in 2018. Thank you so much, Chandler.
All right. Thank you, Gary.